Before you start watching another Storage Wars clip, take a moment to consider what actually happened to Mary Padian, the intelligent, imaginative buyer who created tiny works of art out of old lockers. You could tell she was unique if you watched her on the main show or at the Texas auctions. Today, watch this video through to the very end as we will walk through her tale in an open and straightforward manner. By the time we're done, you'll realize that her post-show life may be even more fascinating than the episodes that brought her fame. Viewers immediately took note of Mary when she initially appeared. She was quietly searching, laughing at herself, and getting excited over stuff that most people would consider garbage while others were fighting and yelling over lockers. When she picked up an odd piece of wood, a rusty chair, or a damaged light, she could already picture the final outcome. People began referring to her as a sort of treasure hunter as a result. She wanted more than just quick money. Her desire was to repair, paint, bend, and revitalize objects. Mary was the composed, imaginative one in a show full of loud voices, and many people began to watch episodes just to see what she would discover next. Her presence on the show increased over time. You've seen her enter auctions with greater assurance. Standing next to veterans who had been in the game far longer than her taught her how to hold her ground when the bidding became serious. She used her creativity and diligence to make odd lockers that others disregarded into profitable ventures. She seemed to stay there forever for a time, making jokes, hopping on top of crates, and daydreaming about how to repurpose old parts. Viewers were therefore perplexed when she began to make fewer appearances. They started to question whether something negative had occurred in the background. However, the reality is far more straightforward and, in a sense, more lovely. There was no dramatic meltdown, no crazy scandal, and no major public altercation. Mary gradually moved away from the never-ending pace of filming as the show evolved and life went on, returning to the world that first gave her energy, her own creative life. Consider it from her perspective. There are cameras in your face at all times, long days of filming, and pressure to make large purchases. It's normal to want a different kind of tranquility after years of that, to wake up, sip your coffee slowly, and choose the treasure hunt you want to undertake on that particular day. Mary maintained her identity on the show even when she was not in front of the cameras. She still has the ability to see magic where others see trash when they enter an untidy storage area, an abandoned flea market, or a small neighborhood sale. She can now do it on her own terms, which makes a difference. She can consider what will make a lovely house piece, what will make a customer happy, or what would help a cause near and dear to her heart instead of worrying about what will make excellent TV. She has continued to create her own projects using her passion for vintage items, offering them in straightforward ways with those who have followed her path for years. Fans can still find hints of that same kind disposition when they search for her name online. She occasionally reveals tidbits of her life, such as a new project she is working on, a trip with friends, or a little moment that demonstrates her continued delight and humor. She hasn't disappeared, even though she isn't in front of a TV camera as much. In reality, it appears like leaving the limelight has allowed her to develop in more subdued and profound ways. Her narrative serves as a reminder that quitting a show does not equate to disintegration. Sometimes it involves picking your own pace rather than following a production plan. Choose your family, and picking yourself. You are obviously one of the true fans who are interested in more than just the drama of storage lockers if you watched all the way through. Here's your call to action. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next tale where we reveal what actually